Om Sahana Bhavatu. You remind yourself. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karvavahe. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So every time we start this session, whether you know the Sanskrit or not, but you know the meaning, you know the essence. And it is always good to start with that. That reminds us that why we are meeting. We are meeting two goals. One is ignorance, to remove that ignorance. Why? Ignorance is causing this suffering. Whether you say it is ignorance or delusion or identification or attachment or anxiety or stress, all are explained with a one goal to bring an end to the suffering and awaken to our real nature. Awaken to our real nature. And remind yourself the word is suffering. And why it is a suffering? Because lack of discernment, because of ignorance. And then you can include all the 6, 7, 9 factors: foolishness, scattered mind, attachment, selfishness, and emotional dependence, intellectual paralysis. It creates a vicious circle. Then what is the remedy? Remedy is the satsang. Do you still remember? Satsang has the upper external layer and the internal layer. External layer, we say you have to listen, learn, contemplate, reflect, and practice. Inner layer. So now the change in my behavior and attitude. What is that change in behavior and attitude? Now I feel less attached. That's really good. I don't get upset easily. I used to have a lot of stress in different situations, and now I don't have it. You see? So inner layer, and that inner change in my attitude and behavior is what is the role of the satsang, which helps me to enter into a higher state of consciousness. So some people say you withdraw the attention inside. That is also okay. And you are able to keep your mind within with awareness and attention so that you are able to see what is right and wrong. And that results into a realization, and gradually we find that the suffering comes to an end and awakening takes place. Awakening takes place. So this is, in summary, summarized. But what happens now? Question comes again and again. I have to ask, am I changing? Am I changing? So if I'm not changing, if I'm not changing, it means the discernment is learned, understood intellectually, but not applied in my daily life. Mind starts working under me, or I'm still working under the mind. One of the greatest. So how to know that I am still working under the mind? The mind is working for me, or I am working for the mind. So if I'm working for the mind, there is an identification, there is an attachment, there is a delusion, there is an ignorance. When the mind is working for me, finished. Mind is working for me, then how dare the mind can cause any stress and anxiety in my life? That is the power of discernment. Do the animals have the power of discernment? It's better to observe, analyze, and understand it, so that we can also find out if the animal mind is working in us or not. Cows, take an example. Understanding. Cows grazes on the grass without questioning whether it is green or not. It simply follows its natural instinct to eat when hungry and stops when satisfied. So we can say, oh, that may be a discernment, Cows follows the natural instinct to eat the grass when hungry and stops when satisfied. But our experiences, our knowledge tells us that animals are pre-programmed. They cannot think. They cannot think. Cows doesn't think, okay, here is a grass is green, so let me take it. That awareness, that ability, that free will is not there. That is why we say it is pre-programmed. That they have an innate software. Without questioning and analyzing their actions, they do it naturally because of the animal instincts. I've been giving an example. The tiger jumps onto the tree and in the forest and looks for a prey. Even when the tree is full of the fruits. Tree is full of the fruits. Do you see that? So they don't have the ability, they don't have the free will and the intellect to choose, to make a decision. We are trying to understand the discernment with reference to the animal mind. We have the animal mind. So now we are trying to understand with reference to the animals. Example. A pig uses its keen sense of the smell to locate the food without questioning the type of the food it is consuming. So one level we can say the pre-programmed has an idea of discernment is there. So the pig understands, oh, this smell can take me to this kind of a food. Can a particular smell take me as a human being to take that kind of a food? And I leave that analysis. I don't observe what is good and right for me. I lose the discernment. I'm telling you, these are very subtler levels of applying the discernment. Then only we can change. Otherwise, the change is not possible. You have studied, you can talk about it, but change is not manifesting in our daily life. So intelligence of the pig is provided by the nature to help it to survive. Help it to survive. All the animals follow a script, if I say so. All the animals follow a script provided by the nature. Provided by the nature. Written by the director existence. And that is why the cows like particular food and the pig likes another food for their survival and well-being. But because as a human being, I have an intellect and free will to choose. I can discern. Are you getting it? At every moment, that discernment helps us to evolve, to rise in consciousness and awaken to the real self. Human beings possess free will and the intellect. I have been repeating it in a very simple way. And that is where comes that we have to apply the discernment in daily life. daily life, in all the situations, in relationship, in profession, in driving, in eating, in thinking, responding. We are like navigators on a ship using the compass of discernment to chart our own life decisions based on our understanding. If we don't apply the discernment even after understanding, I have understood, I have read the books, and I don't apply that. Then only I don't find any changes in my life even after practicing meditation for 10 years and 20 years. Many people, you can find it. No, I have done this and then there is nothing in it. Let us go a little deeper. So studying and gaining knowledge about greater reality is not enough to change my thought, speech, action, and emotions. Acquiring knowledge without a change, that is not enough. I read, I attend, I understand. I'm attacking your pre-programmed mind at a very subtler level. You all are seekers, so you will agree with that. You will understand that. That is required. I read about the benefits of the meditation and the discernment, but continues to live a stressful life without incorporating the practice. It will not work. It will not work. You may say, I have attended these sessions for so many years with you, and there is no change. There is no change. Why? Now ask the question. We have to discern why. The identification with being a doer, experiencer of all the activities remains unchanged despite I have acquired the knowledge. This identification is known as identification with the ego. Or you can say identification with the delusion. Because it is so strong, inherent in me, that I don't want to change. I told you, I volunteer a session for the Ukrainians, and these two girls, I told you the story, these two girls fought against each other. It has been now 7 or 8 months. They are listening and learning. Every time I say, did you understand? Yes, I understand. What did you understand? That we should discern between what is right and wrong. So why you both have not started talking to each other? Think. Individual identification with being the doer and the experiencer you will remain unchanged. It will not change. So now the knowledge that is power, now it has become a weakness because of my identification with my past habits. And there, even I understand it intellectually, but it will not work. You may think that, why it is not working, I am very clear, I am 100% clear about the discernment, but it's not working. Masters give answers to each and every question. That is the beauty. I want to consume the knowledge. I don't want to digest and assimilate the knowledge. Do you see the difference between the two? I want to consume the knowledge. Formal education, going to the Harvard. I want to consume the knowledge. For what? For another consumption. Eastern wisdom is not for consumption of the knowledge. It is for digesting and assimilating the knowledge until I find the change in my behavior, attitude, personality, responses to the event, whatever is happening outside me, so I'm able to maintain that state of the calmness and the poise. I'm making a difference so that you can understand it clearly. Not for consumption. Give me an example. Oh, please send me a couple of the practices. I will do it, and then I will. It's just for consumption without understanding. I just have the information that meditation helps me, so send me something. I gave an example of my friend who has been with me, I told you, 40 years. So what discernment came from his son to his mind, and then he approached me. So I got a message on WhatsApp that now I am been sleeping very well with these two small practices. Understand knowledge. If you want to consume the knowledge intentionally, your mind has an intention, oh, let me use this here and there. No, let me use inside the head first. Let me change myself first. Why? Then I can set an example. I can talk about it with my experience. There is no delusion. There is no anxiety now. Got it. Merely understanding, say for example, the concept I am not this. I am not the anxiety, I am not the attachment, I am not that, does not lead to awakening, as the identification with the ego is powerful and deeply ingrained. That power of identification, because of the ignorance, makes this knowledge extremely weak. When this knowledge becomes weak, then I am a weaker person. Weaker person. We are going deeper. I told you, you have to pay more attention. Despite intellectually understanding the concept of discernment, at first I constantly identify, because of the pressure from my past impressions and the habits and the attitude. Sometimes I shy. Why should I be so humble and kind to others? Because I have been aggressive and it has brought some money, some prestige, some recognition. So the mind says, how come? I should have the same attitude all the time. I tell you, lot of stuff to evolve and change. To evolve and change, I must, as a seeker, consciously practice turning my mind within towards the higher reality, contemplate and reflect, and check every day whether the changes are taking place or not. I referred someone from here, who had some problem, an Ayurvedic doctor in India who is a great doctor who takes care of a lot of challenges. Doctor always communicates with the power of discernment. He has a very rich experience, almost 20 years of experience in dealing with these problems. the bill was around $300 for Ayurvedic medicine. Because of the power of discernment and communication, this guy here, somewhere here, instead of $300, he paid $500, saying that you have been helping people, so please, you can help a couple of more people with these $200. That is the power of discernment. Your need is met, not for consumership, but contributorship. This happened just, and I see these things are happening every day. I consistently practice and tuning my mind towards the higher reality. That is the goal of discernment. So when I am constantly discerning right and the wrong, so I have moved one step towards the higher reality, or what I say, the real self of the nature of peace and happiness. I moved from, I discerned between the sorrow and the happiness, and then I moved another step. I moved from what is right and good and what I like and pleasant. I moved another step in the discernment of my life, and that is going to bring a change in my attitude. Otherwise, it's a 1 hour, 10 minutes of movie. It's a good movie. Don't do that. You all are seekers. I'm saying don't do it. I have to contemplate and reflect. To sit for contemplation is the hardest task. Why? The mind says, let me have a cup of tea and then I will come. Or let me watch this news. I know this might be happening. And the biggest problem that I'm bringing to you now, I have an ego for my body, I have ego for my house and my car. But because of delusion, now I develop a spiritual ego. Oh, look at this, I live my life, I'm a spiritual person. So that ego is already working inside. That's why I have a spiritual ego. So that takes over. Discernment is gone. I can talk and give and lecture for hours together. So I replace the worldly ego with the spiritual ego. And that destroys us. It destroys. Discernment is the power of the intellect. Intellect means the free will. Free will means I can do it, I cannot do it. Say for any action, I can do it, I cannot do it. I can do it differently. Let me do it according to the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom to reach to the real self. Did you understand it? Pig cannot do it. Cows cannot do it. So this intellect has 4 choices. I'm making it simple. I can do it. I cannot do it. I can do it differently. Or let me do it according to the principles of Eastern wisdom. Right and good. Right and good. What I like and what is pleasant for me, I have to choose between the two. So I'm dropping the identification by not choosing what I like and pleasant for me in a particular situation, in a relationship. You internalize your mind, moving the mind inside, taking a decision, and then coming out and expressing it in discernment is going to help you a lot, not only in your personal, professional life, but also in your spiritual awakening. Reading books is good, but read only one page or two, one principle of the book, and then contemplate and reflect through the book. When you contemplate and reflect, then the knowledge becomes the power. So when I say that I spent 26 years with my master, it is because of this. A constant repetition is there in a different ways, different expressions of the real self, different ways to express the ignorance, different ways to express the illusion in the ego and the identification and the attachment. So that loosen the knots of those past impressions. And the mind gets inspired and fired up. Oh, let us. No, I will not live into this anxiety and this stress from today. Mind. You want to understand from a different perspective? You see, I'm summarizing it in a different perspective. The mind lacks the discernment or does not live in the discernment because the mind at default is heavily conditioned by the objective reality. That is a summary of what I discussed until now. So when it is conditioned by the objective reality, obviously then I am attached, I am deluded, I am seeking and imagined pleasure and happiness. Our masters have been so kind. They don't leave anything unturned. They want to explain it clearly. They want to make us very clear. Oh, this is the cause of my anxiety, duality, and a conflict and delusion. Understand it. So when the understanding is assimilated, your anxiety is gone. So now you see, when I am conditioned, my mind is conditioned by the objective reality. What do you mean by conditioning? I like or dislike. So what does it mean? It means when attachment and aversion dictates the mind, the knowledge loses its power. Knowledge of discernment loses its power. That is the reason we get into anxiety or the stress or duality or conflict, etc. Long list. Long list. I just want to give you a taste of the higher understanding of this discernment, because that higher discernment can help me to live in the state of a dispassion. From the dispassion comes the inner calmness, endurance, faith, non-attachment. Knowledge has the you can say the knowledge has the potential to be the source of power and also to be the source of weakness. When the knowledge is dictated by, you know it. What I have to do, I have to recognize the conditioning of my mind every day. Oh, let me recognize the conditioning of my mind. I have recognized. When you recognize last year, and that conditioning has taken a different shape. So you are not living in awareness. You are not living in discernment. It will not work. I'm telling you the fact that when it will work and when it will not work. So I should recognize the conditioned mind the moment I wake up until I retire to the bed. Objective reality, I'm understanding the liberating power of the knowledge. That is the second part. So once I recognize the conditioned mind, I can understand. Oh, I have experienced many a times when I understand exactly this discernment, and I have separated the attachment from my mind towards that object, and I feel the sense of the calmness. I understand. I experience. So I use this experience as a leverage. Another point that I identify the presence of attachment in the knowledge. Spiritual ego. A spiritual ego is going to destroy us. It is for sure. Other ego destroys, but this ego destroys completely. I live in a delusion that I know everything and still I'm suffering. Did I tell you? She approached me from Canada and we have a half an hour session. And she said, I have read all the books. Fortunately or unfortunately, she is Indian, well read. She read all the text. And she sent me a message that anxiety, depression, and frustration. I said, what caused you anxiety, frustration? Because I read all the books. I want to become a spiritual person. That was her statement. I read all the books and still I'm so much frustrated. I said, you are treating the path to the happiness, and on the way you find the stress. Look at it. So even after understanding that discernment, recognizing the attachment, I have to recognize and then I have to remove. I have to recognize attachment is a driving force to act in the world as a consumer. Again, I'm giving another expression. So when knowledge is a power, then what happens? You recognize that knowledge is a driving force to be a contributor. The life becomes easy. And that is another way to cultivate the non-attachment. And then you enter into the wisdom. That wisdom helps us to go very near to our true nature. That true nature is the real self. Peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Eyes are closed, my friends. Eyes are closed. And find out the place where you are sitting and posture of the body, whatever the posture you can sit, it is okay, it is good. And being comfortable. There is a new person, so I'll make it a little more explanation of the being comfortable in a very simple way. Just look at the head and look at the neck joint mentally. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Move the mind on the shoulder joints, be there. Feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Again, see. Look at all the joints of the body. Start moving the mind from the neck joint to the shoulders, elbows, wrist, spine. As you move, do you feel some sensation? Follow that sensation, comfort, and experience the steadiness. This step helps to withdraw the mind from the world outside, further deeper, being carefree. But just see, look inside the forehead in this space. How do I know the birds are flying in the sky? So over the birds, that sky is not moving. It's a reference point. From there, I know the birds are not flying. Birds are flying. Now I have a reference point of the space inside the forehead. And what is flying there? Thoughts, feelings, emotions. Let them come and go. Continue to maintain an awareness of the space or blankness behind all these thought, feeling, and emotions, which gives you variety of experiences. You have separated. You see, in even being carefree, we use the power of discernment. We separated. And then we will add one more, which is respect, is the Mangala Sharam, creating an auspiciousness, conducive. Why we are creating conducive condition? It is already there. I'm reminding my mind that because of your attachment and ignorance, you are not aware of the beauty of your real nature. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So first I chanted the mantra. The meaning of the mantra is, may there be happiness for all. And then the knowledge. What is the knowledge? May there be happiness for what is the knowledge in it? I have already spoken now. Contemplate and reflect. The happiness is my essential nature. It is the essential nature of every being. And that is why I say, may there be happiness for all. Am I clear? The moment you reflect, you move into that awareness. Your mind continues to live within. If it is happening, we are on the same page. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. That is the meaning. But what about the knowledge? Eastern wisdom simply says, when you gather the minds within, that is scattered outside in millions of directions because of attachment and detachment, result is the peace. May there be peace for all. It means the peace is already within us. It is our essential nature. Sarvesham Mangalam, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all, wholeness, holiness. Many meanings. We talk of holiness, Holy Spirit. So here, the meaning is, when We leave all the binding desires caused by the attachment and duality, conflict, and the delusion. We discover the wholeness in us, completeness in us. And that sense of completeness is the absence of delusion and ignorance, is knowing the real self. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. So, what we are saying, I'm in anxiety, but behind anxiety, that auspiciousness still prevails. It is still present. I'm not able to recognize. That's a different matter. Now, how can you say I'm angry and you are saying the peace is inside? What happens after anger? You don't create peace, you simply move into the peace. Understanding is very important so that your practice becomes powerful. One way to explain it, and now in that state we will continue to purify the mind. How? Look inside the forehead in the space. Again, a reference point is the space, and there you drop mentally, gently, you continue saying Om Shanti without moving the lips and the tongue. You are looking into the space, Om Shanti. Again, you become aware of the space, Om Shanti. Body is already still. Maintain that stillness. So continue with Om Shanti and the awareness of the space and start breathing, quick and short breath through both the nostrils into your chest. Continue breathing. Continue breathing gently. Om Shanti continues. Stillness in the body continues. And your mind is, if I say, I don't want to say, but I say mind is focused on the space inside your forehead. I don't want to use the word focus. It is not a focus, fact. Continue breathing, quick and short, into the chest. You feel the expansion and a contraction of the rib cage with the breath through both the nostrils, Om Shanti, and the steadiness continues. And now stop this breath. Keep looking at the flow of the breath without any change. And I know you will remember that you have to pay a little more attention to the flow of the breath, which has a less flow. Sometimes we have uneven flow from both the nostrils. So if it is the right one, has a less flow, you pay attention there without any change. And that is enough to keep the mind within. We understood in detail about this flow of the breath. If your flow of the breath is equal, you have beautiful, wonderful experiences. And now again looking deep inside the forehead, dropping Om Shanti, and this time you are breathing into your belly. It's a longer breath. You inhale through both the nostrils, belly expands, you exhale, belly contracts. The entire belly expands and contracts. It's a longer breath than the chest breathing. You don't move, you don't expand and contract your chest intentionally. There may be a little movement, it's okay. Continue. Breathing into the belly, stillness in the body. Om Shanti deep inside the forehead and space there. Awareness of the space. You're breathing into the belly through the nostrils. Om Shanti continues simultaneously, awareness of the space and the stillness in the body. Continue breathing. We're doing the practice as if uh, beginners practice, but they never think that the beginners practice does not bring the deeper and the higher results. And now leave this again. Bring your mind back to the flow of the breath. Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Maintain the stillness in the body. Continue to pay attention to the flow of the breath. And you will enjoy a state of calmness, a little bit of sensation, maybe tingling, and the numbness, it's okay. Enjoy that state. Don't worry about any change in experience. Why, you are in safe hands. Now, looking again inside the forehead in the space, start dropping Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti mentally. Om Shanti mentally without moving the lips and the tongue. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And then start breathing both from the belly and the chest. Long, deep in the hissing breath. Consciously you inhale into the belly, then into the chest. You breathe out from the belly, from the chest. See what happens. It will help you to raise your awareness, purify the mind. That is why we are doing it. Obviously, for the first timers, there may be certain challenges, so you just keep on doing it if you are a beginner. But those who are already have done it, say they know what step is coming, how I have to do it. Familiarity. We are familiar with that. Continue. Here, breathing both into the belly and the rib cage with Om Shanti deep inside the forehead in the state of the stillness in the body. Continue, please. So we have added all the three types of the breathing with Om Shanti. Now stop this breathing and also the mantra. Look at the breath. That is good. Pay attention to the flow of the breath. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath now. In that state, you are dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of four fingers. What it means? Mentally, you are looking at the first segment of the index finger. When you look at it, you drop Om Shanti mentally. So, and then you move to the second one, as if mentally you are touching, mentally you are saying Om Shanti, mentally you are hearing it, and that tremendously changes the flow of the prana. You may start feeling the sensations on these 16 segments of fingers. So why you say 16? The first three we already know the numbers, and fourth one is the tip of the finger. And then we go to the second finger, the tip, Om Shanti. You see it, you feel it, mentally you feel it, mentally you touch it, Om Shanti. Then again move further, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Now the last step, looking inside, moving the mind inside the cave of your heart, visualizing the equilateral triangle of any color, pointing upward. Then moving the mind on the side of a triangle clockwise, dropping Om Shanti on each side. Then anti-clockwise. And if the mind is able to sync the movement, mantra and the side of a triangle, that is the perfect state for the mind to go deeper within. And when we find the sync, moving the mind deep within while singing mentally, mind is being pushed to the cave of your heart. You are aware, mind seemingly stops. You say Shanti, and now you are in the state of self absorption. You do nothing. Remain as you are. Body, mind, breath, intellect, ego, thoughts, everything is placed very well. They have nothing to talk about it, no disturbances, and you have a kind of a self absorption deeper inside. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. You may feel some sensation to recognize, yes, the mind is there on the right hand. Move the mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down, we will share our experiences. How are you, Brandy?
I'm fine, thanks. My gem from the lesson today was when you described, we don't consume the knowledge, we digest it, right? And it's more than just like something we take in and we use. And then during the meditation, I applied that. My focus was really on just staying carefree, your definition of carefree. Like my mind was running, later on, blah, blah. And I just stayed in the space.
Beautiful. Beautiful application of the discernment. And remember, by Google or Bing, you consume the knowledge. And those who digest the knowledge even from the Google, that's a choice. So same thing, but in Eastern wisdom, we have to digest the knowledge. It is not for consumption. It is not for consumption. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. A very deep, peaceful meditation. What I've noticed is that with this focus of the heightened discernment, it's triggering a higher level of self-awareness that is leading to peace very quickly. And I've recognized that this week. I've also noticing truly how the world is suffering in my observations of when I'm with others. But I appreciate everything you're teaching us, and I see the improvement on a daily basis. So thank you for that.
Beautiful, beautiful sharing. Yes. When we reach to the higher level of discernment, we find that we get easily absorbed into the meditation. And it is 100% possible. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. The lesson, the takeaway was the knowledge is power, combined with the mind is not in control of us. I am in control of the mind. So, and you also said knowledge can be suffering. So I controlled my mind to focus on knowledge for power. And so that was my theme going through the meditation. And it was just a very simple, clean, smooth,
Yeah.
process.
Yes, you're right. You picked up something in a different direction. You see, I have a knowledge of the drug. And when I take the drug, I feel pleasure. So this is also a knowledge. You cannot ignore it. But this knowledge is supported by attachment. And then the knowledge by discernment and knowledge by attachment. The one causes the suffering and other is liberating. Just see, think of it. Contemplate and reflect. So we have many areas of knowledge with attachment. Since the day we wake up in the morning until we retire to the bed. My mom, my dad, my son. Leave everything. Let us only have a discernment. Terry will say, my body, leave that body. Only talk of discernment. And then you see that life changes. That is where the awakening is. Yes, Jerry.
Thank you, sir. The meditation was really great. It was smooth. I had an appreciation through the meditation of the layers.
Yeah.
And so the deeper that we went, the further we went with the stages, the further away the thoughts were. And then my mind went right to discernment being, because I was looking at those layers, but the discernment is the one layer that it's like one-to-one with liberation. So if we just are applying the Viveka, we can liberate it.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
All the time.
Every day, in all the locations, in all the situations. So, when we use, that's what, I'm referring it. When we consume the knowledge, it is just to consume it, use it, and throw it. We forget it. But when we digest and assimilate the knowledge, that Viveka continues to live in my life. In all the situation, relations, that is what she is referring in different layers. That is required. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Fine, thank you. Throughout the lecture, I was contemplating about the difference between the regular knowledge that we get in the world and the knowledge of Eastern wisdom. And this worldly knowledge that is basically for consumption is to please our ego, to increase pride, to attain some imaginary assets, and basically to develop my ego, to take me away from the ultimate reality. Whereas the Eastern wisdom that is basically for digestion is to destroy the ego. And this wisdom will not work until the ego is ready to be destroyed. If we take this wisdom with even a subtle intention of acquiring, of attaining something, of getting an advantage over anyone in this world, or to please the ego, then this Eastern wisdom has no use. It will be useful only when the ego sincerely and truly is ready to submit, to sacrifice itself.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. You see that narrated. You can replace even ego with the delusion or ignorance or identification or attachment. They are the different words, but whatever suits you. But beautifully said that the entire world, the knowledge, we consume it to satiate our ego. Why we want to satiate our ego? Why want we build our ego? Because we think that ego will bring the ultimate peace and happiness. Come on, welcome to my home. Oh, and the friend says, oh, you have Italian marble? Yes. And then he uses your restroom. Oh, what a beautiful. You have a silver faucet? Yes, what it is, yes. And then you have a chandelier? Yes, yes. Except you, the guest looks at everything. I'm just giving it. I'm translating what Dennis says in a different way. He doesn't look at you, but your ego is inflated. Oh, you look so younger. You look so younger. And suddenly your grandkids, approaches you. Then we know your age. I look very younger, but I am a grandfather. Do you see the contradiction? Do you see? This is what we are living in. And so when you use the power of discernment, it helps we, but yes, it's a very subtle. We have to use it constantly, constantly, constantly. Otherwise, a spiritual ego will take us into another direction. Beautifully said. I appreciate it. How are you, Christina?
Thank you very much. Today, a sense of surrendering and accepting, letting go of the ego really came to mind, and the not seeking for peace, right, but the uncovering the peace that is within. And I know that you've shared that many, many times, but it landed more deeply today.
Yes, yes. It has to be practiced throughout your life, every day until you wake up, till you retire to the bed, until we leave. Why? This mind with the delusion can take over us at any time. But then you are saying practice. No, it is not a practice. It is a knowledge. It is an awareness. It is a non-practice. It is a non-practice. That needs to be understood. That takes little time and it happens. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. The meditation was peaceful and just all-encompassing today. I feel, though, that with discernment, everyday issues become much easier for me. Solutions come easier.
Beautiful.
And it's almost like fog is lifting.
Beautifully said. That is an application of the discernment in daily life. You see, in relationship, in different situations, you wake up and your mind says you are upset. How dare you say, my mind, you are upset? Come on. What made you upset? So you start inquiring the thought process and you drop it. I can bet you that you will get out of the anxiety. It is such a powerful tool. Who cares and who will do that? That carelessness means I'm attached to something. Rightly said, Barbara. Thank you. And how are you, Terry?
I think the main thing that stuck with me, I think you said that that we don't create the peace, we just move into it.
Yeah.
So it's like a house that's already built. We just go inside.
We just, yes, rightly said. You just go, you see there are hundreds of people outside and you move from the main door, enter into your house, close the door. I should maintain my awareness. I have left all those people. So that is why one master always focus on this, that you move your mind inside. Means I have left the attachment, I have left the delusion, I have left the anxiety. So move the mind inside where? Move the mind inside, then I have also left the body. I have transcended the body, Terry. So when I have transcended the body, then I have also transcended the discomfort of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are happy. Yes. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर प्रैक्टिस बहुत अच्छी थी और सर जैसे डेनिस ने कहा है कि ईगो जो है ईगो विवेक को दूर करता है, मतलब विवेक के मार्ग में बाधा
Yes.
जैसे सामने वाला है वो उतना ईगो में है कि वो समझे सब पता है और वो कुछ नॉलेज ले ही नहीं पाता हो.
Yes, you are right. Sangeeta aligns her thoughts with the Dennis that ego blocks this discernment. Can I say the otherwise? Discernment destroys the ego. That is another way to say it. Huh? So, but how to achieve this? By consistently practicing. Every moment there is a Viveka. But it does not mean that you are making an effort. It is just understanding. I'm talking. What should I talk? How should I talk? Which example I should take? You see, so that is just simultaneously. Oh, I should not hurt anyone. Even then, Erica has left. Perhaps. Yeah, it happens. It happens. So it's a part. So you see, I gave little importance. Oh, let us do it, the practice. Ah, it's a beginner's practice. But it's a part of the journey. Very good. I'm so happy. I'm able to pass on this wisdom from the masters to you. Thank you. We'll meet again in our next lesson.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.